This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Bidlin, everybody.
Heyo.
U.S. Open Central.
That's right.
And the reason I know that is because Kelly's got a second laptop going.
It's off camera. Nobody can see it, Gil.
Is that to follow your bets? Is that what it is?
Just to follow the action.
Just
yeah,
to
we got
follow
one
the
screen
action.
there. We got one screen here. There's 156 golfers. You need more than one.
You do. For those who missed it this morning, not rain, not wind, but fog caused a 2-hour delay, which makes sense. You can't see the golf ball. It was pretty thick there for a while. Nobody prior to the 2-hour delay. It was only about 15 golfers that got off, 4 of whom were amateurs. And nobody was under par. Nobody had a birdie. They resumed play, and we do have a handful of golfers under par now, led by Graham McDowell, who is 2 under through 2 to start his United States Open, obviously in the extremely early stages of this. James Nicklaus, Jimmy Stanger, Brandon Wu, and Chris Rayton, also 1 under for the early part of the tournament here. Starting at the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills, which is, if you're familiar with Long Island geography, Kelly Bidlin, it's not quite all the way out there, but if you get to Montauk or East Hampton, you want a little too far. Other than that, you're about as far out as you can get.
Yep, about as far out as you can get, and we're seeing the weather come into play. We knew the rain was going to be there. We know the wind is kicking up. It's it did. We were tracking this all week, right? We thought it was going to keep sliding earlier. It kind of hit the stops last night and kind of back to back up. So it does look like the strongest winds are going to be 11 a.m., noon, 1 p.m. Eastern time-ish. Keep in mind, though, 156 guys out here. We talked a bit about this yesterday, Gil. These are going to be long rounds of golf. So
they will struggle to get every round complete today.
They really will. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out, hey, is there somewhere to target first-round leaders, first-round bets? I did make a couple on these early guys, Gil, when I saw what the weather was looking like last night, but then I wake up this morning and you're like, oh, fog, sure, fog.
Isn't this, though, we brought this up with Wes on Monday. I don't know if Wes brought it up and then I seized on it or I brought it up first, which is, we're going to track the wind. We have our beautiful color-coded wind gusting, and we can throw that up on the screen, right? 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.-ish, I don't know how long that'll go. Supposed to be when the strongest wind gusts are, but what we brought up on Monday was, at some point, trying to handicap around the weather becomes a fool's errand, right? You just drive yourself crazy.
Well,
because weather is weather, and fog. There you go.
Yeah, and the wind is, especially here, you're going to have the wind regardless. It's just extra powerful today, right? And we are approaching the point, though, Gil, I think, where you have to start doing the reverse. Where if you were like me and you were looking early last night, okay, long rounds. We got delayed from fog that we weren't expecting this morning. We're still expecting these heavy winds later, which could cause delays on their own, much less if we get rain or not. But we're getting to a point where I think the latest tee times now are scheduled for like 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh, boy.
Like you could wake up tomorrow morning and have to finish your first round and be playing in much easier conditions than what you were playing in today. So I think there is going to be, as this day goes on, the thought to start looking at some of those later groups actually for first round leaders, top 5s, top 10s, that sort of stuff.
And no one is going to be immune from the wind. I mean, even if it peaks at 44, 46 based on the graph we just showed, you're still in the 30s thereafter. And again, just by contrast, what's the NFL wind mile per hour that we say, we have to actually factor it into our handicapping? 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is off the charts here. We'll monitor it all morning long. Some names out on the course now. Brooks Koepka, Cam Young, Cam Smith, Chris Gotterup. They have all started. They're all even par in the early going.
Some early big names, and not a good start for one of my guys. Siwoo Kim, double bogey, hole 1. So he is 2 over. Keith Mitchell, 3 over. Let's see, Daniel Berger, Tyrrell Hatton, Ricky Fowler, Sungjae Im, all 1 over par, just a couple holes into their tournament. And then, you mentioned some of the big names there at even par.
Tommy Fleetwood on the course as well here. On the show today, Zach and Craig, Zach Cohen will join us, talk any grass court tennis he has left on the day, and of course, what he feels about Wimbledon. Sort of early going, not really early. I mean, Wimbledon, draw is at the end of next week. Grass season is a blink.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it feels shorter every year. Like if you take a week off, you're like, oh, Wimbledon's next week, kind of thing.
I bet, because I think you could also, easily every year you could think, oh man, Australian Open. By the time we get to the French Open, it's so long in between.
It's so long. Yeah.
A race to Wimbledon.
And back to hard courts after Wimbledon. We will also have, of course, Unscripted with Crackman Bill Krackenberger later on the show. Joe Sheehan is going to join us today. Joe has I'll use my words, not his. Joe has a bone to pick with me about some of my AL awards thoughts. Remember, I was big on Yordan Alvarez, and then I was big on Cam Schlittler.
Okay.
Saying, in the Schlittler case, saying, I don't really see anybody out there that's poised to take it from him at this point. And Yordan, I gave my case. Well, Joe's got something to say about that. We'll hear from Joe later on the show. Plus, he's got some picks, I think. We'll take a look at some NFL awards. You get you already got your NFL betting guide stuff.
That's right.
In.
Homework's done.
Got mine in this morning.
Nice. There you go.
And we have tennis today. So far, we are already we got one in the hopper already. There were 3 tennis plays for subscribers. VSiN.com/picks. Karolina Pliskova is a winner for us at -103 versus Katie McNally. It was a straight set win, but kind of the second set was kind of bananas for those who followed. That was ridiculous. Pliskova was up 4-1. Then she just couldn't win a point. Got broken. 2 set points for McNally. Pliskova came back, win it in a tiebreaker. So we're 1-0 on the day. We have 2 more matches to go after another 2-2 yesterday. So we're just kind of treading water here. On the men's side, Mattia Bellucci is the play at +110 versus Rafael Collignon. Going with Mattia Bellucci in that one, +110. He's got really good grass court numbers. And then, like yesterday, we did not get home the big flyer on Ekaterina Alexandrova against Aryna Sabalenka at over $4. How about another over $4 play today on Alexandra Ayala, the Filipina sensation, against Elena Rybakina. Rybakina, one of the favorites at Wimbledon as well, but Ayala with great grass court numbers. And we'll see if we can catch Rybakina a little bit rusty here with the always mentally strong Alexandra Ayala.
I like it. Big dog on Ayala, who you've been talking up for a while now.
Ayala.
So, that's a fun one.
Oh, we've won on her many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those are the 2 left. Bellucci on the men's side, Ayala on the women's side, if you want some tennis action during the show, which is nice when we're on grass. We can say that during the show.
Yeah.
World Cup today, another quadruple header. Now, we are done with the first leg, if you will, the first games of the group stage. The second of the round robins begin today. So we're back to Group A and Group B after a day yesterday, by the way, I should point out. That, I don't know, I guess the highlight for many was the England 4-2 win over Croatia. I think England looked like they had about 100 million shots to get like to 7 goals or 8. So I think England, despite giving up 2 goals, real happy with that result.
For a side that all I kept hearing about before the tournament, Gil, about this defense is going to be so good. What can they get out of this team offensively to try to make a run in the World Cup? Oh boy, did they look really strong in that match!
Whew. They could have scored 1 million goals in that game. But before that, I should say maybe that's not the headline. The headline is rough week for the Iberian Peninsula after Spain was held to a draw against Cape Verde. Portugal yesterday held to a draw against the Democratic Republic of Congo. So really rough start there. And it was interesting hearing Thierry Henry go sort of all in on Cristiano Ronaldo playing selfishly. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was even more criticism of Ronaldo coming out of that game somehow.
And then if you had the draw in the Ghana-Panama game, oh boy, you have my condolences.
That was crazy. That was awesome.
96th minute. Ghana puts the biscuit in the basket, wins that 1-0. By the way, I had the draw. Not fun.
No.
Yeah, I did. Colombia.
What was that, 94th minute?
96th. Colombia beats Uzbekistan in the nightcap 3-1 to round out yesterday. Today, another quadruple header, as I mentioned. We're back to Groups A and B. In chronological order, it's Czechia against South Africa. That's a Group A match. And remember, Czechia and South Africa in the first round, they both lost, respectively, to the likes of Mexico and South Korea. So, or I should say South Korea and Mexico, respectively. So that's a big game in terms of you got to you got to really avoid the loss here because if you lose, you are behind the 8 ball. You're not eliminated, but you're behind the 8 ball. You're in Atlanta for that one. Then it's a Group B game between Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Really unfair that they have to play both Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kelly.
Hey.
They both tied for that entire Group B, right? It was all ties,
Yeah.
so they all have 1 point. Switzerland, Bosnia, Herzegovina is in L.A. Then the Group B match between Canada and Qatar. Remember, Qatar had that late added time tie with Switzerland. That Canada-Qatar game is in Vancouver. Of course, they both have 1 point in Group B. So Group B, those 2 matches in the middle of the day today, huge for all of them. And then the nightcap tonight, Group A. This is essentially for the Group A win. I actually think this is the clincher for it is the clincher, I believe, for Group A. No, that's not the clincher, but it's basically the clincher. Mexico, South Korea, they both won their first match. That's the huge one in Guadalajara tonight in Mexico. So there's that. And then college baseball, Kelly, before we get to the rest. College baseball yesterday, we have our men's college World Series best of 3 finals. North Carolina and Oklahoma, both schools just dominating from the beginning of the regionals. Oklahoma, 9-1 since the beginning of the regionals. So they were 4-1 in the Atlanta regionals, 2-0 in Lawrence Super Regional, and now 3-0 in the College World Series. They beat Alabama 9-0, Georgia 4-3, and then yesterday knocked out Georgia 11-4. And then Carolina's 8-1 since the beginning of the regional, 3-0 in the Chapel Hill regionals, 2-1 in the Chapel Hill Supers. And then 3-0 here in the College World Series, beat Ole Miss 6-2, West Virginia 5-2, and then yesterday knocked out West Virginia 12-7. So it's Oklahoma and UNC, best of 3. College World Series begins on Saturday. Could be Saturday and Sunday. Could be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday if they have to play Game 3. North Carolina, a minus 190 favorite. Oklahoma, plus 155 on the comeback.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on Thursday's episode of Money Moves, we span the globe. Chris Vasili is going to be with us from Covers.com. We'll get his thoughts on the continued action in the World Cup, recap what happened on a Wednesday, and look ahead to some updated futures for the Golden Boot and the Golden Glove. Dwayne Colucci is going to be with us from behind the sportsbook, get his thoughts on the action for the World's Game and more, and Matt Grissom as we take a look at Omaha and the College World Series. Don't miss it. It's Money Moves, 11 to 1 Pacific, 2 to 4 Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
20 leagues, one mission. Just Win Bets, baby. Your premier source for daily sports betting picks. They break down the data so you can bet with confidence across the entire sports calendar. Scan the QR code or visit justwinbetsbaby.com today and start betting smarter with Just Win Bets, baby. The name says it all. We got tweets. Beating the book. Y'all are the best. Trip Tepper. Thought USGA thought a 251-yard par 3 in gusty conditions was an appropriate hole setup. Come on, guys, get real. There's that. That's for sure.
All weekend long.
Patrick Kelly, good morning. So it sounds like we shouldn't count on a gilly-bitty polymarket weather podcast. Just tell us whether instead it'll be 105, 106, or 107 in Vegas today. Ray in Texas, I'd love to read your tweet, but I can't. It's a little blue, if you know what I mean. Paulie 68. People say that anymore? Blue. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, what does that mean? Blue. Paulie?
I don't know that I've ever heard that before.
Oh, here's a good one. Paulie 68. I beg of you, please get Kelly in front of a green screen showing how the weather's moving in for the U.S. Open.
Dude, I've been trying to do that for like 6 years.
God, that'd be great.
I've been trying to do it for like 6 years. The wind gust coming in from the southwest. Yeah, I need my weather camera, guys.
There was it. By the way, have you ever tried that? When you were working in local news?
Oh, yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, of course.
And you're looking at the screen on the side.
It's very tough, yes.
Yeah.
People don't know. So you have that like background behind you. How can I demonstrate
which
this?
Is
you have
just,
the background,
just green.
Yeah, which is just a green screen. And what the weather person's doing is while they're looking at you at home and they're like, it's going to be bright and sunny, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking over at Gil where there's a monitor where they're watching
right.
all that stuff. Yeah.
That's right.
And then they've got little clickers to move it along.
And then it's eye-hand coordination with your finger on the...
Which is very tough.
Yes.
That's the toughest part. Shout out Steve Weagle, the legendary weatherman, South Florida, who I would go play with that setup, Gil. Play is the correct term, not like work or anything. Play with that setup way too often.
The best of the guys who come up with it are like Dallas Reigns in L.A. Okay. Chris Heath, condolences accepted. Oh, about the Ghana-Panama match, he said, but I had the draw when Ivory Coast scored in the 99th minute a couple days ago, too. Oh, he had both of them.
Oof.
Oy. And then B. Earl Nelson needed the Braves in the suspended game yesterday to cash no-go zone. San Fran sent out Robbie Ray 6 1/3, 2 hits, 8 Ks. Tomorrow, Atlanta gets the Miz. It's not going to be pretty in the ATL. How about the Giants sweeping the Braves yesterday? Let's go through some of your first round leaders.
Yeah, man.
And some of your bets here.
Birdie for Sam Burns, by the way, just catching up on a couple things. He is to 1 under. He hit an incredible approach shot on the second hole. Scotty Scheffler underway. Rory McIlroy underway. So the big names are going. I did make a Scotty Scheffler first round leader bet, 17-1. Played him. Let's see if he can get out there and score here early before the ugly stuff comes in this afternoon. That was at least the plan, Gil. He's starting only 2 hours later than originally scheduled, so not exactly ideal. Siwoo Kim top 5 and JJ Spawn top 5. I played those as well. BetMGM has those first round top 5, top 10s. I know there are other books that have them as well. What I was really looking for with that today, though, is MGM ties pay in full. I think that's important. I think we have a bunched leaderboard here at the end of the first round. So you get, I don't care if there's 9 guys tied in the top 5. That still pays out in full. So I liked those bets today. I think you could mess around more in first round if you're more confident than I am with what you're going to get with this weather. But we woke up this morning. Nobody was expecting a fog delay. So, bet those. Let's see. Added stuff from yesterday I didn't bring up. Matt Fitzpatrick, top 20. I did end up adding that. Tournament matchups, Shane Lowry over Robert McIntyre. I know some of these are still available out there. Alex Smalley over Sepp Straka. And then I did fire on a few to miss the cuts. Cameron Smith, Brooks Koepka, Robert McIntyre, Cameron Young.
Only thing I have, Patrick Reed, 50.5-1. 50.5-1. He has yet to tee off here at the United States Open at Shinnecock Hills. And I'm kind of happy I only have that one bet, given what's happening today. Happy to regroup tonight and see if I can add more to this. By the way, nice approach shot, I believe, by Rory. We just saw on the second hole. So Rory making his presence felt. Is that Sam Burns who was just in the bunker right there?
I do not know. Can't tell.
Can't get the license plate on that player right there.
There is it's going to be interesting. Rory could have a big week, man. I thought one of the interesting stats coming in of guys that were top 5 on tour, both around the green and putting. And there was only a couple. Rory McIlroy, actually, the conversation started because of Cameron Smith being one of them, which we think about. Okay, he's good around the green, he's a good putter. We saw him win a major that way. Rory McIlroy, you don't exactly think about that way. You think more of his distance off the tee. But yeah, around the green and putting, if this really becomes a slog and tough to play through here, could be big time important.
If you were listening to our NL Cy Young breakdown, shifting to baseball for a second, one of the things that we talk about when going over all the candidates is what is sustainable and what is not. And if you listened closely, we talked about Shohei and how the BABIP and the strand rate were such that there's no way he could have sustained. It doesn't mean that he's not good at pitching. It just means that he's not otherworldly like he had been when his ERA was at 0.74. By the way, still good numbers. But last night, a banged-up Shohei allowed multiple earned runs in back-to-back starts on the mound for the first time this season, pitching with residual soreness in his left knee and a blister on his right middle finger. That's never good.
He's all banged up.
And he got bloodied later in the game, by the way. Ohtani gave up 4 runs, 5 hits in the 5th on 26 pitches. Did respond with a 1-2-3-6 to complete his time on the hill. But wound up with the win, by the way, when the Dodgers rallied for a 5-4 victory to finish their second ever sweep in history of the Rays. So, again, still really good, got it done. But as far as like competing with the Miz and with Christopher Sanchez for the Cy, yeah, not so much. Shohei now 30-1. He falls to 30-1 for the National League Cy Young. And not only Mizorowski and Sanchez in front of him, but also somehow Skeens, Sale, and Yamamoto, his teammate, all in front of him now as well. Paul Skeens really third in this? That's pretty interesting to me. At 15-1.
There's like the I'm trying to think who we can compare this to at other sports, but it's like maybe it's Scheffler in golf. It's just every time we've checked in on this, Gil, it's like, and you and I have talked about the numbers, like not matching up with the other guys nearly as much, but it's like there's a line they don't want to drop him past. And it's like, okay, we're going to move Skeens back a little bit, but we're not going too far
back.
That
could be it, yeah. But it is, as we said the other day, it is a two-man race at this point. What was a scrum of like 7 dudes with the Wheelers and the Harrisons and the Burnses of the world and the Shoheis and the Chris Sales. It really is. It just feels like it's Mizorowski and Sanchez who have put together this both of them unbelievable resumes this year. As Mark Borchard said yesterday, he'd give it to the Miz right now. Obviously, that is not being voted on today, but if it were today, it'd be about Mizorowski and his otherworldly numbers, starting with that K rate, which is flirting with 40%. What are we smiling at?
No, the cut to JJ spot, and I'm like, let's go, JJ, let's get this going right. And his ball, he just sails the green, and that ball is still rolling. So yeah, well, Rory McIlroy birdie on his second hole, the 11th hole. He is 1 under par.
Graham McDowell and James Nicholas tied for the lead at 2 under. This is more. By the way, let me just say this: this is more golfers under par than I would have expected this early in these conditions. But apparently the wind is it awful yet? I don't think so.
So it's kind of typical wind for out there, right? So, I thought it was really funny. Well, I was at home, kind of getting ready for the show before I came up here, Gil, watching at home. I saw Michael Kim tweet this out, and then I saw a couple guys on TV say this. I'm trying to think who all they were. Patrick Harrington was one of them. Of these guys saying, hey, we're sitting here in a fog delay. We get it, because as you said, you can't see the golf ball. We'd all much rather go out and play right now, not being able to see the ball, because the wind is down right now. So that was kind of interesting this morning.
Yeah, but not to be 2-hour delay. And again, we resume play, and hopefully there's no more delays with anything, but it is supposed to get hairy out there. By the way, Scotty Scheffler about to tee off as well. The pre-flop favorite. Did you end up with? So you ended up betting Scheffler in the end?
I'm on Scheffler. Yep, I'm on Scheffler. It's just we brought it up. I do think this is probably setting up as a better live betting a major. So it was kind of staked down a little bit on everything for me this week, Gil, which is it's just not as fun, right? You like being able to come into a major loaded up, ready to go, but just, man, you don't know what you're going to get out of today. But, Scotty did have an early tee time, so I wanted to make sure to get a bet in on him just in case he was able to get out there and post something low here early in the first round.
Is this what people can expect weather-wise, summertime in the Hamptons? Is this normal?
I know you said that. You said that off the air. I was driving up listening to PGA Tour radio. They're like,
it looks the opposite of lovely.
And they're like, it's foggy out there. We're in a fog delay. It's 56 degrees. And I'm like, jeez, it's summertime. It is cold.
This is like the worst parts of San Francisco in the early morning.
It's looking pretty nice at about 6:30 p.m. though tonight. I'll tell you that much.
The worst weather parts as well. So just Patrick Reed for me in this. And we'll sweat out the tennis matches here momentarily. Zach Cohen is going to join us to talk tennis as well, grass court tennis, whatever else he's betting. Get some thoughts on the NFL football betting guide.
Yeah.
Which comes out on Monday.
That's right.
Zach has written up a couple teams. We'll pick his brain about that as well. Bill Krackomberger unscripted. And Joe Sheehan would like to push back. I'd like to push back on some of my awards thoughts. He texted me yesterday. He's like, if you don't mind. I was like, I don't mind. Let's talk about it. Next, on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime!
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Football season may still be months away, but the best bettors are already preparing for it. Next week, VSiN releases its NFL betting guide, packed with everything you need to attack futures, win totals, division races, and the upcoming season. Lock in early bird pricing on our football special for just $175. Be among the first to get the guide when it drops next week. The sooner you sign up, the more value you get with full access to everything we do across every sport through the Super Bowl. That includes daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, and more. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. I started laughing in the middle of that because Scotty Scheffler was putting for par there on his first hole, and we were kind of fixated on that, right?
Well, it was, after it was the old Scotty Scheffler experience, the beautiful tee shot right down the middle of the fairway approach where everybody else is struggling in these tough conditions. Gil, he puts it about 7 feet away from the cup on a par 4. Get up there for the birdie putt, about 7 feet out, leaves it about 3 feet short.
Yeah.
You're like, cool, Scotty, thanks.
Cool. We get tweet speed in the book. Jason H11. Bring on the weather. I want them in the fetal position crying. Love this tournament. Me too, Jason. I hope it's mayhem. Las Vegas 514. Yo. Old school meteorologist you grew up with back home? This is a very DC. It's a very DC tweet. Bob Ryan, Channel 4. Topper Shut, Channel 9. Doug Hill, Channel 7. You named them all.
Boom.
I go way back and say the legend Willard Scott on the Today Show. Yeah. Doug Hill. Interesting guy. Boudin Boy. Here's Kelly giving us his weather update. Oh, it's a little always sunny in Philadelphia shot there. Michael Salvino. Could I get
the Charlie Day? I always get the Charlie Day.
Could I get a shout out? This is Michael Salvino. Could I get a shout out for my friend's annual garage sale here in Canton, Ohio? La Festa. Thank you. There you go.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Shout out. I don't know. You didn't tell us what to shout out besides garage sale in Canton.
Yeah.
I love Gil Alexander, a garage sale.
What is it that you're looking for, though?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I know haggling's up for grabs. I can just go there and just start, bargaining over whatever, right?
You're a big haggler.
So I will stop whenever I see a sign. Whenever I see a sign, I'm the guy who stops at the garage sale. Now, sometimes it's 2 minutes. Okay, there's nothing here. Let's get out. Sometimes there's some treasures. You never know.
The only times I ever went to a garage sale is when I was poking around for old baseball cards. Somebody get rid of their collection.
I was just going to say that's usually the number one thing that I would say most successfully you can find, and I guess I'm looking for the most.
That's all old cards. That's all I care about. R. Johnson, the realist RJ. Looks like Oklahoma heard Grissom's one-word champion prediction that covered both Georgia teams and decided to take out both of them. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, they did. Zach Cohen joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line, part of the Zach and Crack comedy duo here on Thursdays on A Numbers Game. He is part of the glue that holds this whole operation together. You can follow him on Twitter at BettingOnX. What a lovely Twitter handle that is. Zach, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing very well. Let's get the grass court tennis out of the way. Anything left today, or we go to tomorrow?
For today, I just need Madison Keys to win. That's the last thing that I'm really kind of looking at. Hasn't been a great week for me. Yesterday was like one of the worst days I've had in a while. I feel like I lost like 1,000 tiebreakers, so that was not fun at all. But hopefully we get this Keys win, and then we move on to tomorrow, where I do really like Arthur Ferry to win a set against Francisco Cerundolo. That's the bigger play for me. And then I also sprinkled some money line at plus 160 there. And it's really just a fade on Cerundolo and his really poor grass court numbers. He has looked a lot better this week and has kind of taken out some players that I thought that he would have trouble with. But I do think that, over the course of time, we'll see that those struggles on grass are, legitimate. I think it's not a great surface for him because really not a great server. Is a player that likes to kind of rely on his footwork and speed and hits a pretty heavy topspin ball. So all of that stuff is kind of downplayed on grass. And Arthur Ferry is a British player playing in front of a British crowd. Really solid on grass. I think this will be a really good match.
Yeah. I think you described Cerundolo perfectly, right? Which is the numbers aren't there on grass. Yes, better this week, but just basically the data does not portend good things to come. All right. The NFL betting guide, I just mentioned that. We did the promo on it. Coming out on Monday. Our deadline as a staff to put in all of our best bets to fill out the grid of division winners and beyond is today. you focused on, among other things, the NFC East, right? You tackled the NFC East for the guide?
Yeah, so I wrote the NFC East preview for the guide. I also did a feature on MVP and also like candidates to go from last to first, which is kind of becoming very common in the NFL these days. And last year we did it. It was a really successful exercise, so we ran it back again.
Okay, let's start with the NFC East. Obviously, I'm interested in that. Being a Washington kid, I would love to know your order of events in that division. What do you think? How do you think this goes down?
Well, I can give you my overs and unders in the division. I do think the Cowboys are going to go over their win total. I kind of have Philadelphia going over their win total as well, even though it's heavily juiced. The Giants are the only team I have going under, and Commanders are a team that I do have over. I have Jaden Daniels to win MVP.
Yes,
and I feel like you'll really enjoy this, but I just don't think this is far off from being the team that they were 2 years ago. And like 2 years ago, it wasn't a great defense. It was an elite offense and an average defense. That's the formula for them to win again. And I do think that they are going to be right there again. I feel like everyone kind of talks about David Blau as, you know, an elite offensive coordinator. I feel like he's going to do a good job moving Daniels back under center and out of shotgun. That'll keep him upright a little bit more. And I think that the talent is there for them to really have a big turnaround on the offensive side of the ball. And then defensively, I love Sonny Styles. I feel like Dan Quinn's going to do good things with him. I also just like the hiring of Durante Jones, who, was just spent 3-4 years with Brian Flores, who I believe is the best defensive coordinator, possibly the best coordinator overall in football. So feels like a really strong bounce back team. So went over 7.5 for them, and I have a little bit of Daniels 25-1 to win MVP.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you said this and not me, because if I said it, right, people would be like, you're a homer. But I'm glad it's coming from you. By the way, it is a difficult start to the schedule, right? There's at Eagles, at Cowboys, so 2 division rivals on the road, followed by home against the Super Bowl champions, and then a London game. Not to mention there's an at 49ers Monday night before the bye. So there is some school of thought, but it doesn't get that much easier right after. But there is some school of thought with Washington that, if you want to make positive bets on that team, the way that the schedule plays out is maybe you do wait till a little later on in the season. On the other hand, if they manage to tread water in that first spate of games, look out, because that team is exactly how you describe them. And for those who are listening, I just want to make this point again. For those who are listening, we're here in June. This will be the case in July and August as well. We hear people talking about the NFL. People become super entrenched in their beliefs of NFL teams based on what we just saw the previous year. But as you indicated, Zach, and I'll repeat this, last year there were an NFL record 5 playoff teams coming off 11-plus loss seasons, right? Patriots, Jags, Bears, Panthers, and Niners. 3 teams in NFL history have gone from a 13-plus loss season to a 13-plus win season, and 2 of them were last year, the Jaguars and the Patriots. So for those who hear your thoughts about the Commanders and scoff, that's not even an extreme team to have this opinion about.
Not at all.
Not at all. And so I just wanted, because I know there's a portion of the audience that hears that kind of thing. What is he talking about? I'm with you. I think that they are going to be now, of course, Jaden's got to stay upright, right? There's always that. We got to make that disclaimer. But what's the number you get on Jaden for MVP, by the way?
It was 25-1.
25-1.
Yeah,
okay.
not as great as you'd think.
Yeah, 25-1. Jaden Daniels.
Well, it was 8-1 heading into last season, right? I think he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league 2 years ago when he was a rookie. So I do think that this is going to be a really strong season for him. And Gil just mentioned the 11-loss thing. It goes kind of hand in hand with the article that I wrote about, going from worst to first. And this is actually a team that I almost excluded because it just felt weird putting them in there because of how good they were 2 years ago. But ultimately just decided kind of had to include them. And you said it, like Daniels barely played last year. There was a lot of things that went wrong. I do think this is one of the candidates to jump up and potentially contend in the NFC East, but at the very least, I think that they could be a playoff team.
You said the one team that you have an under on is the Giants. What is the crux of that opinion?
I just still think that the roster is a little bit further than people think. I know that, Harbaugh's a great coach. I think he's done a good job of kind of bringing in talent, but I think that the defense is still lacking the talent that they need to make the jump that, to at least what he had in Baltimore. I mean, this is a guy that's had an elite defense pretty much every year that he's been coaching in Baltimore. I don't think he's going to have that in New York. And I also think that the offense is just crazy injury prone. Like, I don't think that Jackson Dart or Oh my God, I just blanked on
Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah, Scatterbo. Oh my God, I'm here in Arizona. I don't think either of them do themselves any favors with the way that they play the game. So I think that the fact that like they play that way really leaves them open to being injured. So I don't really see this being a team that's healthy enough on offense.
Give me one other worst to first that you like.
I mean, the Saints are the one that I really like, and I'm not the biggest Tyler Shuck fan, but I just think that team defensively last season, they ended the year really strong. They're playing in arguably the worst division in football, and I do think that they've made some major upgrades to their talent. I think offensively they are loaded. If you actually look at the skill position players that they have, it's not just Chris Olave anymore, Alvin Kamara. They brought in Travis Etienne is his name now, and they brought in Jordan Tyson. So just I think that team is really talented.
That Travis Etienne thing is going to be tough,
right? Luckily, we've been talking about it all offseason.
There's Devon Etienne, and now there's Travis, formerly Etienne Etienne. Okay, we've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time, he says. More with Zach. NFL betting got on Monday. Pick his brain a little more on the other side.
The World Cup is here, and VSiN is getting you ready to bet on one of the top sporting events of the year. 104 matches in 39 days. And our hosts, along with experts like TalkSport's Alex Crook, are getting you ready with expert wagering advice and predictions. Can Argentina repeat? Will this be France's year? Listen and watch VSiN throughout the tournament as we analyze the betting values for each match. VSiN, the sports betting network. Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game live from Circa Resort Casino downtown Las Vegas. Gil, Kelly, watching the U.S. Open while we do the show this morning. We have co-leaders here.
Let's go.
Rory McIlroy and Sam Burns are both 2 under. Rory's through 3. Burns is through 4. He just sunk a putt to match McIlroy at 2 under. Only 3 other golfers under par at 1 under. Keegan Bradley, Sam McDowell, Andrew Novak, all at 1 under. Everybody else even par or worse. Early going.
That McIlroy and Burns fella is pretty good, Gil. Watch out for them.
Sam Burns already giving you regrets?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Especially when Felica came on, what was that, yesterday? Yesterday and dropped him too. And he was the guy that I considered the longest. I would say him and Xander Schauffele. Schauffele for placements. Sam Burns more for outright upside. But Schauffele, in not the first person to say this, Matt went through these a lot on long shots. I got several tweets about this. You could have gotten Schauffele at like minus 110 for a top 20. You know, he's had a top 20 in 17 of his 20 majors, and he's never finished worse than 14th at the U.S. Open.
ATM machine.
Yeah, it's an ATM machine. But his approach numbers have been down a little bit recently. I couldn't get there.
Long shots, by the way, we just flashed up on the screen. You can always scan the QR code there and download and subscribe. Wes Reynolds, Matt Brown, Kelly Midland.
This is the second hole McIlroy's been playing out of the rough here.
How do you guys divvy up the hosting responsibilities on long shots?
That's a great question, Gil. It is Matt Brown. Matt Brown leads the way for us, and when he's out, I do.
Okay.
And when
both of you are out west,
and when he and Wyatt are out, like a week ago, Rob Moreno volunteers to help out with the podcast, which I greatly appreciate. And then I keep screwing up the times, so it takes like 10 times longer than it should.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
Zach Cohen, kind enough to join us for a second segment. Zach, you don't bet any golf, do you?
I mean, I bet it occasionally, not like these guys. No.
Yeah.
I'm in a pool right now. That's the best. That's the most I have right now.
Oh yeah, we're in our survivor pools as well, our mock survivors. We got to track those as the day goes on as well. Back to the NFL because I want to get your NBA draft thoughts because again, this just in, the NBA draft is on Tuesday. Like it's I had the date June 23rd in my head, and the whole time I'm thinking, oh, that's obviously a Thursday. Don't all drafts start on Thursday? No, it's Tuesday. So we'll get to that. Last thing on the betting guide, because the betting guide comes out on Monday, our NFL betting guide 1.0, expertly guided by the great Adam Burke. You have some pretty strong feelings on the Vikings.
Yeah, so I had these feelings last year, so I'll get that out of the way first. But I think that last season started about as poorly as it possibly could have started with the offensive line. I think Darius saw the injury was absolutely huge. You're hoping this year that everybody up front is a little bit healthier and ready to go. And if that's the case, I think that the offense takes a huge step forward. I think either way, if it's Kyler Murray or it's J.J. McCarthy, I feel like this offense is going to be humming again, honestly. I actually really like the acquisition of Juwan Jennings as their wide receiver 3. I think Hawkinson's supposed to be healthy-ish, start of the season. And I just feel like the weapons that this team has in an offense that is as well coached as it is, we're set up to see something really, really strong in terms of a bounce back this year. And I kind of like Kyler Murray as a fit for this team. I think that Murray's a guy that if you asked me if I liked him when he was in Arizona, I would have told you I didn't. But in a Kevin O'Connell offense where, just needs to avoid making mistakes, I think that his job's going to be way easier. So I think that his talent is going to be kind of able to shine through a little bit in this situation. Then on defense, like I said before, I think that Flores is better at his job than any other coach in the entire NFL. And I just feel like we're going to see Minnesota return to being a top 5 unit. And if the offense could be top 12, I think you're talking about a Super Bowl contender. So I think this is a team that over 8.5 wins was an easy call for me. I think to win the NFC North is a good bet at the number you're seeing, and I have a little bit of them to win the Super Bowl at 50-1.
And this has nothing to do with anything you just said, but do you have a hunch on the opinion of J.J. McCarthy in the building, as they like to say now? Still as high on him as ever before, or just a matter of working him back slowly? Or what are you reading?
I don't think I ever viewed him as like a future star. I think I saw him as like a Cousins type if he were to hit. And I think that, maybe he can still become that, but it sounds like it's going to be Murray's job from everything that I've been reading. So I feel better knowing that than, throwing McCarthy out there after what we saw last season. So maybe McCarthy, reaches his potential. I don't know. But I do feel pretty good knowing that it's probably going to be Murray in week 1.
All right. NBA draft on Tuesday. Nobody follows the NFL, the NBA closer than you do, Zach. A host of Hardwood Handicappers, by the way, which Kelly, when he's feeling okay, he joins. When he's not, when he doesn't have anything better to do, he shows up.
I'm here most every Tuesday.
No, that's true. That's true. You are. You come in like a minute before the show. So let's start with this. So for those who heard the Trae Young news, Trae Young declined his option with the Wizards, but the word is that he's going to re-sign with the Wizards for 3 years. So let's take that off the table as like a conspiracy. Wow, he's going away from the team, so therefore they're going to draft this. What is your opinion at the top of the draft? Let's start there.
So I know that there's been all sorts of reporting that's kind of thrown some smoke into this and made it a little bit harder to read, but I still think it's going to be DeBonsa, Peterson, Boozer as the top 3 players. And I think that it just makes too much sense for Washington to bring in a player like DeBonsa, who maybe you think his ceiling is a little bit lower than Peterson's, but his floor is way higher. And he's just a big player with an NBA body. I feel like you draft him at 1, you don't really think about it. You have, like, at the very worst, like an 18-point per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists type of guy in the future. Like, I think that his floor is so damn high. So I feel like it'd be really surprising if Washington were to pass on that for kind of what Peterson brings, which is a little bit of that red flag. So I think that we're going to see 1, 2, 3 be exactly what we've been kind of projecting it to be for the last 5 months or so.
I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll add Wilson at 4. I think it's that. I'm after that. I have no idea. What do you think? What have you bet so far?
So I do think it's going to be Wilson. I did sprinkle Darius Acuff Jr. to go number 4, though, at 20-1. It's like the smallest play imaginable. I have 0.1 units on it. It's nothing, but I just think that Acuff's going to be such a good pro, and what he put on film in college was really impressive. And I kind of said this to Kelly and JVT, like in our Harvard Handicappers chat. I feel like Brunson doing what he just did in the playoffs definitely helped the idea of winning with a smaller guard. And I feel like teams are now going to be a little bit more creative about maybe not turning their backs on these smaller players, which is why I think maybe Trae Young had a bigger market than maybe we anticipated heading into this offseason. So I feel like Acuff is the 4th best player in this draft. I'm probably alone in thinking that. I have Wilson at number 5, Acuff at number 4. So I did take a little bit there because I know Chicago did work him out. I don't think it's likely they're going to pick him, but I feel like they're at least considering it.
Okay, Nate Ament from Tennessee. You have some thoughts on him?
Yeah, so this morning, Jake Fisher, as part of that Mark Stein Substack, where the two of them do really good kind of insider work, sussing out, news and doing what they can to figure out what these teams are thinking. They said today that there was a pretty intense private workout with the Milwaukee Bucks and Nate Ament, and it was the entire kind of organization, front office, coaching staff, all of that. So he said, like, the words he used were that Nate Ament has a floor at number 10, and his over-under right now is 10.5. So you could take the under on 10.5 and take him to go top 10 at -105 at DraftKings. Maybe you could find a better price than that, but I did think that was kind of an actionable news drop that we saw this morning.
You know what I love about this draft compared to some in recent history? We actually know these players. Right? Like, we've seen these players play extensively, so we have some idea. There were some drafts where, like, I don't know if he's any good, and I've never seen him play. He comes from whatever country. Mm-hmm. Any other bets, or is that the one that's the most actionable one for you right now? And amen.
Right now it is. I mean, I've given out a few on Harvard Handicappers that have just moved like crazy. Like Braden Burries to go top 10 was -175 when I talked about it on the podcast. It's like -230 now, and there's now buzz about him going number 5 to the Clippers.
Wow.
I'll keep looking out for things. Like, I will be talking about this all on Harvard Handicappers tomorrow, so I'll dive back into the draft with like 30 minutes on it tomorrow morning, and there'll be an episode up like tomorrow afternoon. So I will have more. But as of right now, the plays that I have are DeBonsa to go number 1 from March. So that was +135. I took Peterson the other day at +415 just to kind of hedge that. And I have Burries to go top 10. And I have Darius Acuff to go number 4, which honestly feels like I'm throwing out money. But I thought it was worth a shot.
I was in D.C. when they won the lottery, and it feels like it was DeBonsa from moment 1. And I don't think they're going to waver on it. I think they're picking A.J. DeBonsa at number 1. It also feels like Keaton Vogler might be the dropper in all of this, by the way. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting on this. By the way, scan the QR code on your screen. Hardwood Handicappers. It's Zach Cohen. It's JVT. It's Kelly Bidlin. Zach hosts it each and every Monday through Friday morning. Last thing. Let's say it does go. DeMonson, Peterson, Boozer, Wilson. What's the team you're most excited about seeing? What young team are you the most excited about seeing next year? Is it the Jazz over the Wizards?
I think the Wizards and the Jazz both make similar leaps, but I think that Utah's upside's a little bit higher. But I see both of those teams being in the postseason. Will kind of throw out that I do think Boozer would be Rookie of the Year, like favorite in Memphis, just because I think Zach Edey's health is a major question mark. I think Boozer, if you were asking me who should go number 1 in the draft, it would be Boozer. So I feel like he'd be thrown into a situation where he's playing a ton, has the ball a lot. So that's kind of something I'm keeping an eye on as well.
Zach, appreciate it very much. Good luck with your tennis. We all look forward to the NFL betting guide on Monday, and then, of